Let's see who we have here. We have Ahsan Khan. I've also seen him perform in open mics before, and I cannot wait to see what he brings today. He will be performing a spoken word piece. And to Ahsan, resilience means standing together as a part of a community. Absolutely lovely. Ahsan, you now have the mic.
Hi, thank you for that. Thank you to Resilience for organizing such an amazing platform, providing a platform for the artists. Am I audible? I just wanted to check that. All right.
Yep, yeah, you
so
are.
This piece, thank you. This piece is still a bit untitled, but for the past few months, whatever has been happening, there's this dialogue that has been happening where sometimes you just have to accept what is happening and just keep walking forward. And sometimes that acceptance is the hardest part. And that's where I kept thinking about if in such situations that I just stand there and accept, is that hopelessness, is that me being weak of some sort? And this piece was written in that type of mentality. So it starts off with saying, sometimes we just have to simply accept that is life. Every curse, every blessing, every truth, every lie of it. Then why is it that acceptance is always the hardest part? Acceptance of what has occurred and what is bound to happen. Maybe it's an old habit of trying to define life into words and sentences, for it is a definition that lays a boundary on freedom, and is a definition that brings an end to belief. We hide from the world of what we are most afraid of, and show to the world parts of us that we allow them to judge and define. Sometimes the truth isn't false enough to be true, so we choose to stand with the lie, for that seems to be correct, because for the moment, it is the lie that will protect us. I don't know if it's hypocrisy, stupidity, a blessing, or a curse that we cry both in pain and in happiness. For the pain cuts so deep that we shed tears to forget about the sorrow. And the joy is so unbelievably true that we shed tears to remember the moment. Would you truly know about the beauty of the sunrise if you hadn't witnessed the sunset? Would you care enough to wait to see the light if you hadn't seen the darkness? Maybe it's because I still have the scar of the cut on my hand that keeps reminding me to help someone else drop the blade. Maybe it's because I've cried in the corner of the night that I choose to remind someone else to smile in their day. And that's what makes smile beautiful. The journey that it's been on. The reason it still appears after all of those moments of being lost, being in pain, and in those moments of difficulty. Every destination has its beginning and ending. Every tear has its joy and pain. Every journey has its night and day, and that's where it will come. The darkest part of the night. Where will you be standing when it arrives? Who would you be begging for help when you don't have hope? Who would you be pleading you to give you courage to keep going? What would give you reason to not give up, to not give in? And that's when it will also come, the brightest part of the day. Who would you be standing with to show them strength and courage? Who would you be reminding that the world did not end with that fall, that the world did not end with that fear, that the world did not end with that cut, that the world did not end with that lie, that the world did not end with that truth? Sometimes in order to complete the story, we have to give it an ending. The best and worst part of life is that it will keep moving and will not stop. The responsibility that is given to you is both the most difficult and most rewarding, the easiest yet the most forgiven, and that is to live life. You will see life and death. Sometimes it is the end that gives us the origin of the beginning. Sometimes to know who you truly are, you need to know what you are not. It's not always about the end result, but the purpose of why we wish to keep walking on the journey. But I'm just not going to accept the final chapter, because in those moments that we stood for so long through the night, and when we reached the light at the end of the tunnel, we didn't have strength nor courage to keep standing. That's when the journey is not over. That's when the story is still yet to be written. That's when the final chapter of the book is yet to be lived. Why is that we have forgotten about the end, the moment we would have seen darkness for the last time, also the last time we would have seen happiness, the last time I would ever be in pain, and also the last time I would ever be in joy. And maybe, just maybe, that is life. Thank you.
That was absolutely lovely, Essen. I feel like
Thank you.
everyone's poems, as in the context of the pandemic, just take on a completely new meaning, a completely new sharpness, and the whole idea of focusing on the moments, the whole idea of moving forward or looking forward is so important right now, and it can be so easy to just dwell a lot on what's been happening and just lose sight of, if not the bigger picture, then at least, living life to its fullest in whatever ways that you can, rather than dwelling a lot on the parts that upset you. So thank you so much for that very,
My
very
pleasure. Thank you.